Before we dive into the blood-soaked madness of this 88 film slasher classic collection review, a quick heads up for listeners and viewers alike. These episodes come straight from the podcast Under the Stairs archives, recorded before the launch of the YouTube channel and long before video podcasts became part of the show. These reviews were originally crafted purely for audio. So if the production feels a little rougher around the edges or a little more stripped back than current episodes, that's because you're hearing the show in its earlier form, raw, passionate, and let's be honest, a little waffly at times. Whether you're revisiting these reviews or discovering them for the first time, please sit back and relax and enjoy this trip through the golden age of mass killers, inventive gore, and VH era nightmares. This podcast is not safe for work and will feature movie spoilers. It will feature scenes described of a graphic nature. It will contain language which most listeners may find offensive. Welcome to the podcast Under the Stairs. Hi everyone and welcome to the podcast Under the Stairs. This is your 88 films slasher classic series of reviews. I'm your host Duncan. Welcome to the show. We've arrived at disc number 7 already. This one will be Nail Gun Massacre. That's right, title I'd never heard anything about until starting doing this series, and a title which I will just say up front here has stretched the word classic to its thinnest possible fucking level. I swear to God, it's not often that I get angry about movies that I had to watch, but you're going to hear it on this show. Anyway, before we get into that, well, anger's maybe a strong word. It's not going to be angry, just frustrated. That sounds better. But before we get to that, welcome to the end of the week. It's been a very, very, very fucking long week of podcasting, 6 episodes. If you got this far and you're listening to this show on Sunday, I commend you. You've legitimately won yourself a gold star. Well done. If you're finding this episode about a week later, I don't blame you. There's a lot of content out there. I'm surprised that anyone is making through any of these. Can I just say, for those that are, thank you very much, and thank you for all the support. This month was not intentionally kind of heavy with shows, but it has just become that way through lots of ideas coming to fruition about the same time. We will try out with October to rein back on that. I don't want to keep bombarding you with this amount of content because I don't think it's fun for people that have other shows to listen to. There you go. I said it. I've said my piece. Now, that being said, we have a pretty stacked week next week. I think there's somewhere between 5 or 6 shows dropping next week, so yay. Hopefully you're enjoying the 10 Tales of Woe series. We are officially at the halfway mark for that, so that has been a ton of fun to do. Even though the movies have been depressing, I am enjoying doing them, as well as some of the other bonus content we've been putting out as well, and I've got some pretty stacked shows lined up before the end of the month. Right, let's just get into this one. I want this episode to be short, sharp, sweet, and done. We are going to take a very short break just now. You're going to hear promos for shows that I love. You are going to hear the trailer for Nail Gun Massacre. And when I return, I'm going to be reviewing that movie, disc number 7 of the 88 film slasher classic series, right after this.
Hey, feeling down? Feeling low? Not enough podcasts about movies in your life? Why not try
They Must Be Destroyed on Sight,
the new podcast cure-all, sure to get you right with the world and on a path to better living. We have exploitation, we have Italian horror, we have zombies, we have slashers, we have crime films, we have spaghetti westerns, we even have sci-fi and sex comedies. So take a dose of
They Must Be Destroyed on Sight
as needed, and let the hosts, Lee Russell, Daniel Harper, Paul Romali, and the odd guest host cure what ails you.
Warning, may cause atrophy, African consumption, black fever, bone shave, chin cough, colic, cramp colic, dropsy of the brain, elephantitis, grocer's itch, jaundice, mania, miasma, mortification, palsy, Pott's disease, rheumatism, scurvy, St. Anthony's fire, summer complaint, and worm fit in some people. Consult a physician before listening.
Peaceful town somewhere in America.
I said put that thing down!
Well, what do you think?
Up until the nail gun massacre.
Well, you just pissed me off.
The town and the open field. The nail gun massacre. A sheriff and a doctor are close on the killer's tail. And then another nail gun massacre happens.
Oh, John! What the hell's the matter with you?
Dreadfully mutilated corpses line the killer's way. The nail gun massacre.
You just don't understand.
Uninhibited frenzy. Terry Lofton's knack in presenting gruesome situations has made him famous beyond the borders. A masterpiece that already has many followers in the USA. The Nail Gun Massacre. Out now.
Hell, just let me see if I use you in one of my movies again!
And welcome back. So you've just heard the trailer for disc number 7 of the Slasher Classics collection by 88 Films. This is Nail Gun Massacre. Let's delve in to the bio on the 88 Films website, which says, no pennies, no plot, no problem. With innovation comes influence. And so it was that in 1985, another group of backwood filmmakers from the Lone Star State gave us another legendary Texas set splatter shocker, Nail Gun Massacre. An icon of the VHS age, sleazier and cheesier than any of its contemporaries and featuring more power tool plasma spillage than you can shake a chainsaw at, Nail Gun Massacre introduces a motorcycle helmet-wearing psychopath with a range of amusing one-liners. This mysterious marauder gets their kicks from tracking down tempestuous teenagers and lowbrow locals so that they can be turned into a pile of human pincushions. The motivation behind the macabre path of plasma provocation may be linked to a psychosexual crime that took place years prior. Although the police force are understandably baffled as each new dead body turns up. Never before released in the UK, 88 Films is proud to welcome this notorious late night beer and pizza pot boiler, restored and remastered from the original 16mm materials into the Slasher Classics collection. Do not expect high art, but do expect a bloody good time, because few slices and dices pictures pack in more mayhem than Nail Gun Massacre. I struggle with it there. The special features, the ability to watch in both 4x3 and 16x9 versions, both transferred from the HD and the original 16mm materials, an audio commentary by The Hysteria Continues, an audio commentary with Texas Frightmare Weekender creator Lloyd Cryer, an Alamo Drafthouse screening, interview with director Terry Lofton, interview with SFX and music supervisor Whitney Thomas, locations of the Nail Gun Massacre featurette, a Q&A hosted by Joe Bob Briggs, 88 Films trailer reel, a reversible sleeve with alternative poster artwork. This one is region free. That's right, region free. The picture format is HD 1080p, 133.1 or 178.1. The audio format is DTS HDMA mono. And the movie is approximately an hour and 25 minutes long. An hour and 25 minutes, dear listeners, that I felt every fucking second of. Now, before I get the kickbacks, which are inevitable, I can almost see them. Before I get the kickbacks here, I will say the chances are, had I seen this movie back in the day, I would hold some sort of weird nostalgia for it. It has a particular sense of humour that a kind of pre-teen or very early teen Duncan would have thought was kind of funny, but I didn't. I saw this the way that 88 Films intends me to see it, as someone who feels that they have missed out on some of these gems dotted around in the slasher genre. These little movies that we could get a chance to sit down and watch and feel like we were part of that great US boom of slasher content that never made its way for whatever reason. It might be rights, it might be distribution, it might be budgetary, but to have the opportunity to check these movies out. It's the same ethos behind the Italian collection. Now, I know I keep trying to link these two, and to be fair, it's unfair to do that because the Italian collection is obviously focusing at more than just one genre. It's looking at a specific country's body of kind of exploitation cinema, where in the case of the slasher collection, it's all going to be slashers. Of course it's going to be slashers. Gun Massacre, see when they say no pennies, what was that opening line again? No pennies, no plot, no problem. Yeah. What should be on the back of that is no talent, no good actors, and like, see, they're talking about like right, I don't want to shit in a movie. I hate shitting on movies, right? It's not my place to shit in a movie because I've never made one, right? If you made this movie, then you are one step ahead of me, right? I've never done that. I don't have the inclination, I don't have the ability or skill to do what the people did to make this movie. All I can do is critique my experience of watching it, and I come to this with no nostalgia at all, but I have some big issues with this movie, and the biggest issue just has to be that the overall quality of everything is bad. And I know that some people will be like, well, that's the point. It's a cheesy, like, low budget, kind of backwoods, Yoko Loco fucking nail gun killing. You know, I know the point. I know the audience that this goes for, and having turned on a bit of the Hysteria Continues commentary, which sounded like a riot. I love those guys. Listen to them talk about it. There seems to be a clear bridge between you either saw this movie at the right time and you get behind it, or your brain is that way wired that you like it. But to me, when people talk about how bad a movie like Pieces is, in comparison to Gun Massacre, it is like fucking, it's like Gone with the Wind in comparison. Because what this movie struggles with is that it doesn't really have any good acting. The dialogue is fucking awful. The special effects are not great. All it really has is a kind of cool killer. And that's it, really. I like the killer's look. I like the idea of the motorcycle helmet that makes him sound like fucking Voltron. I love the fact that there's that kind of pneumatic, twisty, fucking bright yellow cord that connects to this ridiculous sized nail gun. I like those aspects. But it's a pretty shit weapon, I'm going to be honest with you, and the kills are pretty bad as well. And then I'm left with, well, what is it here? Are we leaning into the mystery? And this is the problem. Like it said at the start here, no pennies and no plot. The plot is thin. Starts off as a kind of, well, this act that happened to this woman may be, you know, a sign for retribution later on in the movie. The reveal of the killer's fucking stupid. I really didn't like that. The overacting at the end of the movie made my eyes roll. About 15 minutes into this movie, I was very much aware that I did not have my phone in my hand, and I wished, like, even for 5 minutes, I could just scroll through the venomous hate on Facebook to take my eyes away. I didn't. I gave the movie my full fucking attention, and I don't feel rewarded at all. I feel like I lost an hour and 25 minutes, and I don't understand. Like, I think the thing now is, with my perspective on the slasher classics, is we are 7 discs in, and I've seen 2 movies that I really like, 1 movie that I think is kind of cool, and 4 movies that I think are various shades of bad to fucking awful. And I'm starting to think that maybe there is a reason that my knowledge of slashers is so just overall kind of scarce, that I didn't go down the rabbit hole to try to hunt them out. I have no doubt there are movies more worthy for the inclusion of the Slasher Classics collection. Now, I've also got no doubts in my mind that probably their acquisitions is very, very difficult, and there's some titles coming up that I have heard of before and that I've seen before that I'm really looking forward to doing. But Nail Gun Massacre to me is that classic kind of case of just because you could doesn't mean you should. Just because you could put this out on Blu-ray doesn't mean you should have put it out on Blu-ray. I don't feel any better from seeing it. I don't think the print is particularly great either. I know that some of the guys on the Facebook group page were talking about issues with the negative anyway, and kind of lost footage, and the way that was kind of handled. It doesn't look great. It really doesn't. I tried watching the first 10 minutes. Oh, this is how bad my night was. I tried watching the first 10 minutes of the 4x3 version, and I was like, no, this is not happening. Not on my fucking massive TV. I'm going to switch it back to the 16:9 version, which I then had to watch those first 10 minutes again. Don't know why I did that. Probably why I wanted to switch off after 10 minutes. And then, you know, kind of just went through the one-liners are not great at all. They're not even funny. I didn't even crack a smile. I know it was kind of aiming for that sort of level of humour, but I didn't get it. Like I say, the effects are not great. It's all kind of after so he presses it, we hear the sound, and then the camera pulls down to a obviously fake nail coming out a hand, which has got like a dribble of blood hanging down it. It doesn't look great. The character, I don't know who I'm supposed to be following in this movie at all, or who I'm supposed to like in this movie, or who I want to survive in this movie, because to be honest with you, anyone and everyone should have died in the production of this movie. In the movie, not actually making the movie, that's pretty bad, but all the characters in the movie should have died. And we had maybe the most anticlimactic death of a slasher villain of all time, if he can be called a slasher villain. Can we call the Nail Gun Massacre guy a slasher villain? I know there are conversations out there about, can you call a movie a slasher if the killer uses a gun? That's essentially what a nail gun is a gun that fires nails. So can we actually call this a slasher movie? I don't fucking know. And these are the questions that are going through my head rather than watch the movie itself. It's not for me, it really isn't, and I don't want to fucking slap it about the place and all the rest. It clearly has its fans out there. I posted it in the Facebook group page and a lot of people want to check it out. And I would say, if you are inclined to watching the kind of dodgier side of the kind of horror genre, you know, the stuff which is, you know, not good at all, then yeah, this movie is for you, and you should probably go and check it out. I will say that the worthwhile nature of this comes from the special features. Like, I got this as part of a deal. I got this as part of the 5 for £30 deal. So what's that? It cost me a £5. No, that's bad maths. It cost me £6. And £6 is probably the value for the special features, which I did enjoy. I checked out the interview with the director, which was quite interesting. The interview with the special effects and music supervisor, something you don't usually hear linked together with Thomas, was good. Some of the footage from the Alamo Drafthouse screening, which looked like a riot. And yeah, I kind of toggled between the commentaries, which were fine as well. So they've stacked the decks on this disc with cool content. What they've not necessarily done is, and it's not 88 Films' fault, but delivered a good movie. The movie is not good, and it's just not my thing. I come to it expecting something that I'm not going to get, and it's what I keep coming back to. I don't care how many people complain about how bonkers an Italian Jolly is, or how you know, the ending happens and the killer doesn't make any sense at all. Those movies are made really, really, really well. There's a craft behind those movies. Even some of the guys like Umberto Lenzi, who at times gets given that kind of schlocky treatment, or, you know, Fulci in his later day was producing better content than what is produced here in Nail Gun Massacre. It's just not a movie for me at all. If you like it, more power to you. I'm glad it has an audience. I've said it many times. I don't want to be the guy who says that no one should ever watch a movie. That's not cool. If it has its audience out there, if you like this movie, then that is cool. It is just not for me at all. I found it bad. In terms of scoring, and I'm sorry, this is it pains me to do this, ladies and gents, but I mean, I approach these things with a degree of professionalism. I am not a professional critic. I'm not at all. But when I put things that I want to be able to lean back on my grades and say, well, I gave it this for a reason. I watched this movie and viewed it for a reason, and as it currently stands just now, a lot of these movies in this collection have not been scoring very, very high at all. I do not need to tell you that we recently sat down and watched a certain little Don't Go in the Woods Alone movie, and I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it at all. I thought it was awful, and I gave that a 1 star. Got a 1 star. Gun Massacre I enjoyed less, so it gets half a star. Half a star out of 5 I think feels appropriate. I will never watch this movie again. But if you did like it, fucking A, man. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I'm gonna finish this little segment here with its half-star review, and then we're going to turn our eyes forward, because there's plenty more in the collection to get to. A lot of titles I've not seen in a long time that I'm really looking forward to. So, like I try and do with all these things, I'm going to look to the positive, and I'll be doing that right after this break. And you've been listening to the podcast Under the Stairs. Ladies and gents, this has been the 88 Film Slasher Classics Collection series of reviews. We looked at disc number 7, Gun Massacre, and whilst I did not enjoy that movie, we are turning our attention to what will be coming in a fortnight's time. 2 weeks, ladies and gents, we will be discussing disc number 8, which is a movie called Dead of Winter, which I have not seen either, but to be honest, after reading this synopsis, I'm kinda intrigued. I'm kinda excited to check out this one. It says here, helmed by the legendary Arthur Penn of Bonnie and Clyde and Little Big Man fame, and starring Academy Award winner Mary Steenburgen from Melvin and Howard, Dead of Winter is his seasonal suspensor par excellence. Loosely inspired by 1945's classic My Name is Julia Ross, this 80s update presents Steenburgen as an aspiring actress who's lured out to a country retreat in Canada in ice-cold weather to audition for a well-paid dream job. Unfortunately for her, though, a sinister plan is being unravelled around her, which will culminate in entrapment, torment, torture, and blood-curdling revelation. Co-featuring, listen to this, Roddy McDowell from Planet of the Apes, Dead of Winter is a masterful mix of backwoods malevolence, mistaken identity, and heightened horror film tension. Now available in a worldwide HD debut, there is little denying that Dead of Winter is one of the highlights of the entire 88 Films Slasher Classics catalogue. Special features on the disc, poor special features here, unfortunately. They always do this. Get excited about a movie, no special features. So you get the 88 Films trailer reel, stills gallery, and reversible sleeve. It is region code B, which is interesting. I would have thought if it was its worldwide debut, they might have pumped for it a bit harder, but obviously not. It's HD 1080p, 185.1. Audio format is LCPM stereo. The movie is 100 minutes. Oh, I love that sweet 100 minutes. And the certification is a 15, even though it's an 18 in the picture. Totally confused. Yeah, this looks great. I'm looking forward to it. There's some pedigree behind this movie, and you give me pedigree, I will smile. I'm looking forward to seeing what Dead of Winter is going to do in a fortnight's time. There's a multitude of ways to check out Podcasts Under the Stairs. As always, I say come across and check us out on Apple Podcasts. Leave us a rating and a review, and also subscribe to the feed so you get the shows as and when they drop. It's the best way to support us on that platform. You can check us out at Stitcher, Smart Radio, SoundCloud, Google Play, and the TuneIn app. Also, a little bit of Spotify. You can visit our website, it's tputscast.com. If you want to buy some merch, you can do that by going to our Big Cartel page for posters and enamel pins. It's tputscast.bigcartel.com. If you're interested in some of the legacy stuff, I have a Redbubble page now. It's in the show notes. You can go to Redbubble, and in the search, type in TPutsCast, and there's a lot of legacy designs on a multitude of different things you can buy. Some of it's fucking nuts. But yeah, go across there, spend some money. That money comes back and supports what we're doing. You get some cool swag. Come across our Facebook pages if you want to join the group page, interact with other listeners, post what you're watching, and get involved with all manner of horror conversations. That's facebook.com/groups/teapotscast. If all you're interested in is when the shows drop, checking out the occasional live stream on a Thursday, then that's the Facebook page you want, which is just facebook.com/teapotscast. If you want to interact with myself and the Baz on the twin prongs of social media sexiness, it's Instagram and Twitter, and both can be followed at teapotscast. The podcast Under the Stairs will return tomorrow, ladies and gents, and yeah, it's going to be a doozy. But until then, wherever you are, whatever the time zone is, and whatever you're up to in this big bad world of ours, please take care of yourselves out there. This is Duncan McLeish broadcasting live from Under the Stairs, and I am signing off.